Hello! Recently I've decided to travel a little bit and see some places that are nearby. And while I was gathering my suitcase, I've found out that my beloved Astell&Kern Ultima SP1000 is too heavy and too bulky to carry with me everywhere. Luckily, Astell&Kern recently announced probably not simplified but minified version of Ultima. They give it name SP1000M. It's smaller version of player with 4.1-inch screen, but they promote it as having similar audio hardware, and they are selling it for price that is more than $1,000 less than Ultima. So its price is $2,400, and I took it with me to spend some time with it and to found out did they created the same DAP for less or not. Let's have a closer look now. Package is simpler, it has nice blue color with embossed letters, with some technical specifications on the back side. The most interesting for us: unbalanced 2.1 volt RMS, balanced 4.2 RMS. Other numbers are pretty close to classical Ultima, and actually some are even better. Inside still used two AK4496 digital to analog converters. This version has a bit less memory, only 128 gigabytes instead of 256 gigabytes. Also a bit reduced battery lifetime. It's about 10 hours in technical specifications, and in practice it's about 9 hours. But still it's a price you are paying for smaller size. So inside you will have box with accessories set. Here you will have some papers, warranty cards, manuals, something like that. But what is important, you will have nice leather case. So more than $2,000 will give you case. This time Astell&Kern decided not to cut the cost. Also you will have player itself, some screen protectors, USB-C cable, and micro SD slot cover. So as you can see, nothing super fancy, but everything that you will need you will have. I think it's good, because with Futura, which costs almost close to 2,000, you won't have a case. But this time you will have it, and it's a good achievement. Design and build quality proves that it's a really Astell&Kern product. It looks like the bigger version of Ultima. The main difference is color. This one have a nice blue color, but it's still made of aluminum, has the same design, same edgy shapes, but definitely smaller. Unfortunately, I don't have bigger SP1000 with me, so I can do comparisons, but I've got AK SR15. So as you can see, how to put it so it be visible correctly. So as you can see, this Ultima is noticeably smaller and has almost the size of typical player. So huge step forward in terms of portability. They changed the design of playback control buttons, and you know, maybe not unfortunately, but those smaller buttons are not as nice and as comfortable as big round ones. When player is in case, it's really hard to find the proper button because they are almost indistinguishable. On the upper side there are regular and balanced headphone output and on-off button. Astell&Kern decided to skip this idea of making clickable wheel in this player, and they simplified their construction. Here is volume control. It's here used high quality encoder, so clicks are well defined here definitely, and it has zero issues with volume control. I will turn it on, so it will boot up meanwhile. And on the bottom here is a USB-C connector for charging, to use it as a USB digital to analog converter, to connect it to external digital to analog converter, and micro SD slot. So they decided to remove this tray slots that is present in SP1000 bigger. Backside covered with carbon, it looks stylish, really good, and actually there is no connector for external accessories like SP1000 has. I'm not sure will Astell&Kern release some external amplifier for SP1000 or not, but here they've decided to skip with this idea. And of course main part of control are done via sensor screen. It's nice, it has good viewing angles, really good resolution, good colors, it has enough brightness to be visible under the bright sun, but it became smaller and it's easy to reach almost to every part without changing your grip, so screen probably more comfortable than in bigger SP1000. And underneath there is a back button, so also is pretty usual. Of course everything is built flawlessly, looks really stylish, but it's what you can probably expect from players that cost more than $2,000. Firmware is also really familiar. When you turn player on, you will see this main screen with now playing, album cover, buttons to go back, add to playlist, additional information about this track, play order and shuffle. Here is buttons to control playback. Here is now playing playlist. You can access it using this button or you can swipe from the right side. Swiping from bottom, you will open your play history, very convenient. Tapping the album will display it, tapping album cover will display it bigger with lyrics if it's present, and this button opens menu. As usual, you can slide also to access this menu. Here you can open quick settings panel, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, equalizer, USB mode and everything like that, and display brightness. So everything as usual. Main menu has media library. I really like search here, that's why I actually like players with sensor screen. They're comfortable and allows you to easily manage big library. All songs together, albums, artists. As you can see, it's separated by albums. When you select artist list, genres, playlist, folders, MQS files, CD library if you will use the external Reaper, and services menu. And what is interesting here, they've finally added external APK support. It's not easy, not super easy like on typical Android smartphone where you can launch Google Play and install everything, but you can install some applications via APKs. They've added Deezer, and you can install external Tidal client, traditional mobile Tidal client that supports offline playback and other stuff like that. It's really huge improvement, and now you can enjoy all these streaming services with ease. And settings, there are a lot of them, but they are pretty good structured. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, so I think it's expectable. Here, turning on, connecting. Astell&Kern Connect, it's a great feature that allows you to access external media or access this device remotely to control it. Traditional good equalizer. You can add new preset, and here it is. Line out, channel balance, playback settings, lot of settings where how files will be added to current playlist, and so on. CD ripping, USB mode, USB audio, screen brightness, daytime, device name, language, input method, timer settings, downloads, update, system information, system reset. So firmware of course is really reliable, really smooth, really fluid, really convenient. It's also pretty expectable for Astell&Kern's players. And of course about the sound. So I think everyone was expecting a little wonder, smaller and cheaper player with the same sound as the flagship. But of course it was pretty stupid to believe in this wonders, because who will buy the bigger version of Ultima in this case? So I've made a series of A/B testing before I went to my journey when I received this player, and the sound difference is definitely present. So it's not huge, but it's noticeable. So I will save my thoughts on this matter until the conclusion of this review. Meanwhile, let's focus on this player's sound without. Well, I probably can't avoid comparing it with SP1000, with its elder brother, but I will try to do it as much as possible. So, as an illustration, I will use really great in-ear monitors. I really recommend you buying them as a second pair if you have extra $200 to spare. Campfire Audio Comets are really great addition to your collection, whatever other headphones you have. They have a pretty unique sound, and you know, I really like them with almost every pairing, starting from some inexpensive dubs and ending with top of the line. And actually Silverlead's cable improves their sound, also pretty noticeable. But okay, sorry for this interruption. Let's go back to the SP1000M. Of course, it's typical Astell&Kern, and the most distinguishing feature in its sound it's this Astell&Kern's mid coloration. This coloration is really hard to describe if you didn't hear it, and when I'm trying to describe it, I usually use words like fluid mids, and trying to describe this coloration sounds a bit like paradox, because you know, it's simultaneously all notes are transitioned fluidly, but they are also cleanly separated. It's hard to describe this effect, but it's something like that. So these mids are giving more additional wow effects to the sound of this dub, and it really sounds charming. And another distinguishing feature, it's black background with perfect notes portraying on this black background. It sounds perfect with some in-ear monitors, and it's also adding more effectiveness to its sound. So, low frequencies goes really deep, they are nice, they have enough rumble, they have good weight, they have perfect resolution, they are great in representing textures, and so on and so forth. You probably expect nothing but perfection from the player that costs $2,000 with $50. Let me turn the screen on. As an illustration, I really like this track. It's a lifetime of adventure. It's a symphonic poem composed by Tuomas Holopainen. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name incorrect, but as I've said in my SP1000 review, I should call my channel Great Audio Gear with Heavy Accent. So Tuomas Holopainen, his symphonical poem The Life and Time of Scrooge, really great piece of classical music, and it's a good example of low frequencies, because they have all these big drums that are used in big orchestras, and they are often they are easy to not to be noticeable if player didn't play bass perfectly, and this player really do it in good and well-defined manner. So these big drums are here, and you can enjoy their rumble. It builds the foundation of the sound as it expected. But here also lies some noticeable difference between bigger SP1000 and this one. The lowest layers of bass that is present in the sound of both players, here they are a bit weaker, because SP1000M is a bit weaker on lower bass, and big SP1000 is a bit tighter. It's noticeable only compared with Ultima, but I probably will name these differences. Mids I've almost described before. They are fluid, but they are perfect in terms of resolution, in terms of emotions, in terms of detalization, and as its elder brother, this player is really good in representing emotions, and it's surprisingly good in playing poorly recorded tracks. Of course, you will hear that quality isn't okay, but you won't be, these issues of recording won't be thrown right into your face, so it's pretty nice. But of course, you'd better go for some high quality tracks, because it's like buying sport car and driving it on the bad bumpy road. So as an example of let me see what I've prepared as an example of mid frequencies. Yep, Louder Than Words, final album of Pink Floyd, and everyone knows that now it's definitely the final album, Endless River, the only song with words here, and of course it's like a compilation of all previous Pink Floyd works, a huge amount of nostalgia, maybe sometimes. When I was listening to this track first time, I've got tears, because it's like I'm too young to have a nostalgia about Pink Floyd being an active band, probably, but I still really like this group, and it's sad that this legend is over, but anyway, we've got another album and we've got this great track. Of course, it's rich, it's very intensive in terms of instrument usage, and you need a perfect mids, and of course SP1000M is perfect here with this track. As for a soundstage, of course it's good, it's big, spacious, three-dimensional, but actually it's another area where SP1000 is better, because it's more holographic, more spacious, more three-dimensional. And another difference on mids, that SP1000 is a bit more linear on the lower mids. This one puts more weight in the lower mids. Actually in middle mids also it put more weight, so they sound a bit more, well, how to find the proper word, a bit less, probably not less resolving, but a bit more weighty, and this weight not always fitting good into these rich timbres of this player. And about treble, of course, it has great layering, great separation, and actually on treble it's pretty similar with SP1000, and being treble head. I am a treble head, so I really like rich treble, I really like treble layering, I like air, and this player in this area is the same with SP1000, showing the same level of performance and same level of perfection. So treble extended with great resolution, with perfect attacks, decay, so I don't have any issues with treble, and it's the best treble in portable audio world, definitely. At least in player's world. Maybe some expensive digital tonal converters portable can show this treble, but I'm not sure here. And as a treble example, I will use classical jazz standard Caravan from the Whiplash soundtrack. I won't promote this movie. I think everyone who is looking this review saw it. If you didn't saw it, just go and do it right now. So it's a perfect movie about jazz, about passion, about music. I really like it. So Caravan is really rich with drums, with all these percussions, with all this treble, a lot of treble here in this track, but it's not annoying, not harsh, it's perfectly recorded, and if player isn't control treble perfectly, this treble can also be lost. It can be shadowed by the mids and it can be lost, and this player really managed to succeed in this area and represent this track also really nicely, really lively, with a lot of airiness and really in really enjoyable way. As for headphones pairing, I think this player can handle everything, starting from super sensitive in-the-ear monitors and ending with almost every full-size headphones. From balanced output it will give you 4.1 volts RMS, so with balanced connector you can drive vast majority of full-size cans, with some exceptions. Of course, power-hungry planars and high impedance models won't go okay with it, but all other headphones will be good. And with it I really prefer some natural models like Campfire Audio Andromeda or Unique Melody Mason 3rd version and other stuff like that. So nothing with no models with noticeable coloration, but of course it's a subjective preference. And few words about comparison. Actually, in this price range I've got only another dub. It's Ultima Gold. They are priced almost similarly, and actually they are both offering really high-end sound, but Ultima Gold offers shows another approach to creating this sound. It's more forward, a bit more aggressive, more highlighting emotions, more energetic, so it's another type of representation. And actually it's the main question, what kind of representation you want if you want to select between those two. And of course all other main competitors is made by Astell&Kern. Also there are Sony in this price range, but I don't have their dubs for review, and actually I'm not impressed with their sound, but it's a matter of different reviews. So there is so-called Futura SE100, but I can say that Ultima is really worth paying extra because it's more Astell&Kern sound, more engaging, more emotional, a bit warmer, and actually it's what is called more musical. Difference between SP1000 and SP1000M I've already described, and you know its difference isn't big, but it's noticeable, and this noticeable difference for me is making a big difference actually. You know, I probably I should end this review with words like, yes, it's a good chance to have a high-end sound, saving more than $1,000. Definitely go and buy it if you can't afford buying big Ultima. But I'm sorry, I won't do that. I'm usually trying to avoid sharing my subjective opinion, but in this case I've got my opinion, and probably Astell&Kern won't like it. I'm really sorry. I think that it's a great dub, but its price is too big. You know, Ultima's big Ultima price is even bigger, but in case of SP1000 it has one aspect: you are paying for the best sound, and for the best sound you can pay, I think, maybe not any money, but $3,000 and $3,500. I think it's they are really worth it because you are getting just the best. And in this case it's not the best. It's good, but it's not the best, and pay $2,400. It's I think it's too much, and you can buy some other dubs that cost less but offers almost as good sound as this one. I can name probably iBasso DX200 with M7 and M8, or Opus number 2 from the Beat. They cost much less, but they're offering almost as good sound as this one. Not as good, but pretty close. Well, and actually there is another great option. There is SR15. It's worse in terms of sound, but it's still great, and it's still Astell&Kern with its signature coloration. Of course it's simpler in terms of sound, but the price is how many? Three times less, and I think it's better in terms of price and in price quality ratio. So, to summarize everything, of course this is a great dub. It became smaller and lighter, and it became now portable, because big Ultima isn't portable, I think. So now it's portable, it's great, and probably if I'd try to calculate size to quality ratio, it will be clear winner. But in terms of reason and in terms of price quality, I think I'd better save for big Ultima or go for less expensive dub. But anyway, it's a great dub. I must highlight this once again, and it's really worth your attention. But I just want to share my opinion because I think that reviewers should be honest with audience. See you next time with some interesting gear. Have a nice day.